Hi, this is Gil Robles. My video today is about searching for that perfect ink brush. And before I get into that, what you have before you is this drawing that I did. I usually do a lot of these sketches on my lunch hour at work. I do a ton of them, and this is one of them. I had tried, this is my second attempt at doing this drawing. I had tried to do this earlier to recreating this sketch and got a little frustrated with it. Didn't come out exactly like I wanted it to, so I said, why not, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, just scan this image and do the sketch, because what I wanted to do was to talk about ink brushes. Now, I did a lot of ink drawings a long time ago, and I participated in Inktober a few times, at least 3 times, and I like inking. It's a lot of fun to me. It's a lot of it's a lot of fun. Let me just put it that way. I've been doing this since I was in high school. Even before that, in junior high school, I did a lot of inking. Was very much influenced by a lot of the comic book art that I had seen, and also about these old illustration arts. Even though I didn't know what I was looking at back then, I looked at old illustration drawings and employed a lot of cross hatching and so forth. But I really enjoy inking, so I try to look for that perfect ink brush. Now, I've had this program. This is Clip Studio Paint, and I've had this program for a while, but I haven't really used it. I've concentrated more on Sketchbook Pro, Sketchbook, and Photoshop, and other programs too. But those were the main ones, and trying to invent a brush, downloading different brushes that people have made. I've downloaded some manga brushes for a studio, for a studio pro. I'm sorry, for a sketchbook, and I never really got the results that I wanted. They were okay, but I never got the look of a pen that I was used to using, or a brush. It didn't have the right like when you press down on it. If you're used to using the traditional materials, when you press down on the nib, you get a larger deposit of ink. There's a nice calligraphy line that you can that you can come up with ink pens, and then you can go from thick to very fine line. So I really wasn't getting that with these other programs, as good as they are. So I decided, let me go to this program, which was formerly called Manga Studio. So this was done specifically for comic book artists, and they're the ones who use this program the most. And it's just natural that they would have the best brush, the best inking brush of any program that I have seen, and I enjoyed using it. I didn't have to go and search for any additional brushes, and you know what? I'm just using one brush. I'm just using the G pen. I haven't even tried using the other stuff here, because I'm not as familiar with this program as I am with the other ones. So it's going to take a lot of me experimenting and going around it. The reason, probably one of the reasons why I haven't done it, is because a lot of this stuff in this program is hard to find. There's like in Sketchbook Pro, things are just right there at your fingertip. In Photoshop, it took me a while to find things and to know what they're used for, but eventually I found them, and it's going to take a little time in this program to look for stuff as well. But it's doing what I wanted to do, which is the most important thing. I guess the thing is, it's intimidating when you first start a program and you don't know where everything is, and you just want to get to work right away. So again, I'm only using one brush, I'm sure that there's more out of here that I can use, but I'm just in this one brush. I'm getting the look that I want, and the disadvantage of digital software is even though you can get the look that you want, it feels different. It's not the same thing, and a lot of times, I want to have the same experience because drawing or painting is also is not just uh, coming up with the right image or whatever. Of course, that's a big part of it, and that's a big part of it for the client. But for me, it's it's uh, it's also the experience of drawing. We go to certain mediums, we choose certain brushes or whatever because it feels right to us because there's an experience in it that we enjoy. I mean, if you don't like to paint in oils, you're not going to paint in oils. If you don't like watercolor, you're not going to paint in watercolor. If you don't like inking, you're not going to do ink drawings. You're going to choose another medium that you like. So part of it is the experience. So, but the thing about it is when you come, especially from a traditional background, when you come into digital art, you can't get the idea that these this new medium is going to feel the same way. It's a new medium. It's a new medium, and it's going to be different from what you're used to. That takes getting used to because you know what, even because what it is it's simulating that favorite instrument that you're used to using, and even though it can be successful at it, it doesn't feel the same way. It's like I use another program, Rebel, and there's the watercolors in Rebel, which comes out I think better than any program as far as the watercolors are concerned. It does really, really well in simulating watercolors, but it doesn't feel the same way. And there are other programs, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a program that simulates that Sumi ink drawing, and it does pretty good and stuff like that. But the thing, as far as coming up with the image, it looks like the real thing. But the problem is, as an artist, you're not going to get the same feel as if you were using the actual materials. Excuse me. But you're going to get the same look. So even though it doesn't feel the same, the look is the same. It just takes a lot of getting used to, as far as that's concerned. And that could be that could throw you off because you got to get used to something. Even though you like the look of it, you might not like the way it feels. Like I'm drawing on the best thing is I'm drawing on a monitor. I used to use a Cintiq. This is a monoprice monitor, and I would still use a Cintiq, except the monoprice was much cheaper. I get good results with this monitor and so forth. But drawing on a monitor or drawing on any kind of tablet is different than drawing on pencil and paper, drawing with a pencil and paper or ink and paper or canvas and paint. It's different, so it doesn't feel the same way. You may get similar results, but it doesn't feel the same way. So it takes a lot of getting used to. And I guess a lot of my videos are especially for those who are coming from a traditional background and are looking to learn about digital art. And so it could be a turnoff. One of the turnoffs is that, hey, you know what, it doesn't feel the same. But you know what, it's another medium, so you got to look at it in terms of getting used to this medium. It looks different, and it feels the same. It looks the same, but it just feels different from what you're used to. And it could be a great medium. It could be a time saver. It could be a space saver because you don't have to keep a ton of old drawings around or old paintings around, you just keep them filed away in a hard drive or on your computer or so forth. And I would recommend that if you're going to do digital art, that you also not just keep it on your computer, but keep it on a hard drive or keep it somewhere where it would remain safe, and you don't have to worry about losing the image if something were to happen to your computer. But and that's not a drawback, because I mean, if you have the original, you also, that's also something that you have to keep safe, just in case something would happen. Like if it's a watercolor, you have to make sure that it doesn't get moistened or whatever, and ruin your watercolor. Or if you're or you just got to keep it in a safe place. So the same thing with digital software. You just got to make sure wherever you save it, it's in a safe place where you won't lose your image. But anyway, it's very important for traditional artists coming from digital to be able to have an experience that's enjoyable. I kind of liken it to a diet. In terms of my one of my sons started going vegan. He started buying different products, and he bought this vegan burger, and he's just trying it out. And my other son said, "Well, let me try it out too." And when he tried it out, he was disgusted by the burger. He didn't like it. He said, "Dad, this doesn't taste right. This is awful." And I said, "Well, you gotta approach it from the point of view that it's not the same thing. It says burger, but it's not a burger. So it tastes different. It may be better for you, and or whatever. But it's something that you have to learn not to expect the same thing. Now it simulates. It's supposed to be something like a burger, but it's not going to taste like meat. So the same thing with digital software. It simulates it. It's not going to be the same experience. It's going to be a different experience. So you got to get used to the idea that this is a different medium. It's not. It looks like ink. It looks like watercolor. It may look like oils, but it's different. Art Rage is another program that simulates all these different natural brushes. The oil paint is a great brush in Art Rage, but it doesn't feel like oil paint at all. You have to get used to the idea that it's not oil paint, that it's a digital version, and you may get the look of oil paint, but you're not going to get the feel of working at oil paint like if you're used to using that medium. But even after all of that, having something that simulates the real thing is of course an advantage. It helps to take away from your mind this idea that that you're not getting exactly what you want. And I did that with a lot of these other programs. I tried, like I said before, making brushes. I tried downloading brushes. I tried looking for something that would work, and I didn't get exactly what I want. Now, there are people who've used these programs, and they do great work, and I've enjoyed it. So they're able to use those brushes and make it work for them. It just hadn't worked for me, and part of it comes from the experience I've had of using the actual material, having some expectations, and wanting to have that same that same look. I learned a long time ago, like I said, not to go for the same experience, because I'm not going to get the same experience, but I'm going to get the same look. But still, having that same look helps a whole lot, because then that's one less thing that you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about what it's going to look like. You just have to be concerned about executing your drawing. And even though it's going to feel different, you're able to do, you're able to make it do what you wanted to do. Now, then you can start to not struggle so much. You can start to think about how you're going to apply your line, how you're going to, finish your drawing, and you don't have to worry about, well, you know what, I'm trying to make this line look right. I'm trying to make this drawing look right. And even though all through the drawing you're trying to make the drawing look right, well, in inking it's a different thing, because like here I scanned in my drawing and I put it on, so the drawing is done. So inking is more like an effect that you're having, even though I'm not tracing the drawing. I'm I'm trying to enhance it with the inking. So that's what you're more concerned about, is enhancing the drawing, because your drawing is done. The proportions, where everything goes and so forth, it's all done. So you don't have to worry about that. The inking part is, how do you enhance this drawing? So you don't have, but you when it looks like what you want, all you have to do is be concerned about, be concerned about enhancing the drawing and not worried about how the line is going to look. And that also allows you to experiment. That also allows you to come up with different solutions. We come up with different ways of enhancing the drawing, different lines. Like, I don't know, but it might appear I'm weird. I'm trying to think ahead when I do these drawings. Like, if you look on the side where the ear is, I left a lot of white space there, and that'll look like reflected light, or what you would call bounce light. And because obviously the light is coming from the other side, and the shadow comes, across from right to left on the drawing, and on the ear it picks up another light. Now, it can't be as strong as the light on the other side, so I'm thinking about the way I'm going to paint this, or if I'm going to apply some kind of pattern, like what we used to call zipatone, and you can find those patterns in just about any software now. But applying these patterns, I know those patterns are somewhere in Clip Studio. I haven't figured out where they are yet, so I might update this drawing later on and include either color, or maybe just include those those patterns, or maybe both. But I'm trying to think ahead, so I'm leaving that space white, so that it's actually supposed to be it's supposed to be some kind of bounce light, or reflected light. So I can think ahead. I can experiment with it, because I don't have to worry about the other things. It's the brush is doing what I want it to do, which is a great thing. So it takes away that struggle. I can relax. I can be comfortable. I can allow myself to get used to the software, and because it's doing what I want it to do. So it's a big plus. Now, again, I haven't really explored this software, even though I've had it for a long time. I've just been concentrating on other software, but I haven't explored this one. But it's terrific. It just takes some getting used to, and some time to invest some time in learning about the software. That's the one thing about all this digital software. There's a lot, and I wish that you could find that you can find everything in just one software, but you have to bounce around and learn as much as you can, and it can be costly. So I try to look for these inexpensive softwares. I have probably the most expensive one I have is the Adobe software. They used to be a lot more well, they are expensive, but they're within reach now with their subscription model, where you could, instead of buying the program outright, you could subscribe and get more than one of the Adobe programs, which is the best deal I've seen out there. But with that, uh, it doesn't do everything. Like, I can't find this brush in Photoshop. I suppose you know, after a lot of work or whatever, you can come up with something similar, but this does it. And if I can remember right, Clip Studio was not too expensive. It was not out of my range, even though it's more expensive than something like Sketchbook. But Sketchbook again is now turned to a subscription, and it's not, you know, it's not bad. But the old software wasn't expensive at all either. So I still have Sketchbook Pro 7 on my computer, but if you want to continue to update it, you would have to get the subscription version, where you have the latest software. So with that, I mean, this program is just a great program for this so far. Now, I've used it also to color, and it's wonderful as well. It's got some great brushes, and a different look to the color brushes. It's different from what you would get from any of the other programs. So because of that, it's worth it's worth experimenting with and looking into. Now, I like these lines that I'm getting right here. I didn't have the freedom to put down lines like this because I didn't know what I would get. But with this program, what I'm putting down, when I'm putting down the line, it's a lot more predictable. Like, I can depend a lot more on how this line is going to look. Like when I'm using traditional material, I can see ahead of time what the line is going to look like. That doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes, because of course I do. And if you look at the course of this videos, I've made a few mistakes. I've had to undo, I've had to erase, and so forth to get what I want. But for the most part, I'm really comfortable with the line. So like I said, this is a software where you got other brushes here, of course, and it's a bit of a learning curve, because I'm going to have to look where I can find the other things. I mean, I know where I can find the color brushes, or they give me a few choices here as far as what the color is supposed to look like, or what the brushes are supposed to look like. But they're very nice. But the other things I've got to learn about this program is where they keep their special effects, the patterns and stuff like that, so that I can get the look that I want. Now, so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it about this software. That's pretty much it about this inking. I guess I could have talked a lot more about inking in itself. It's that would take like another video. And really thinking about what my thought process is about inking from beginning to end. This is not the video to do that with, because this is just a sketch. If I were to do more of a complete illustration, then I'd have to share like I did over here, where I talked about the strategizing as far as leaving that area white around the ear, why I did that. And so at this point, my drawing is done. And so all I need to worry about is spending some time going over it, making some adjustments, adding and subtracting certain things. But everything beyond this point is kind of like, it's just it's just finishing touches. It's just a little here, a little there. So my drawing is done. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this particular video. Um, I'm having fun with this new channel, and I'm trying to keep it so that I'm doing these drawings in real time, and it's kind of hard to do that because a lot of times it stretches over, like, I try to keep it like 20 minutes, and a lot of times it stretches over that mark. This one did slightly, and it can't be helped because of the drawing, but I want to keep it simple, as well as keep it within a certain time frame, as well as provide a quality video, and not just a quick thing that I'm doing and just throwing it on YouTube. So it took me a while to come up with an image that was acceptable. That that especially within the time constraints. But apart from that, you see with this software, is when I blow it up, it doesn't lose any of the quality of the line, which is what I like. Other software, which there are software which will give you what you want. However, it takes away from the quality of the image, especially if you want to use the image for reproduction. So you got to have something with the right resolution. Like on this thing, I have as a rule nothing smaller than 15 inches on either side, and nothing lower than 300 pixels per inch as far as the resolution is concerned, to give me a decent image that I can, that I can trust that when it's reproduced, it would look right. So anyway, like I said, I'm only putting finishing touches from here on in, and tell me what you think about this video. Tell me, I'd like to hear what you think about the channel so far, as if you think that this channel is working as far as this showing the videos in real time. Is it too tedious? Do you want it sped up? Do you want or sped up slightly? Or do you have any ideas for anything that you want me to talk about? It would be great. I think that it would help me to provide on this video channel the things that you're looking for, as long as they're within the things that I can talk about as far as what I do. I'd rather not talk about something that I am not accustomed to, So anyway, that's pretty much it. That's it for this video. Yeah, that's it. All right. Thanks a lot. This is Gil Robles. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.